I bought this printer in November of 2025. They went on sale after the new P2S came out, so I got a great deal. This is an awesome printer. It is very accurate and rarely fails a print job. The only thing I noticed is that I have to clean the build plate with regular dish soap after every 10 prints or so, or else the prints start to lift off on my first layer. I am using standard PLA filament from Anycubic because I find that it is cheap on Amazon when you buy them in packs of 4 or even packs of 10. This is the reason I bought the P1S. I wanted a printer with a little more accuracy than my current bed slinger. My slicer software is Bambu Studio. It is free to download and pretty easy to use. For my Death Star projects, I made 4 of my own presets. I made one for the small detailed pieces, another one for small pieces but the flat wall panels that are common at the Death Star. I made another one for large objects with a standard layer height of 0.2 millimeters. And I made a 4th one with ironing for large objects because some of our objects have detailed tops. So strategically, I am using 0.08 millimeters or 0.20 millimeter layer heights, depending on the piece that needs to be printed. Here you can see the changes that I made to the default settings. For this one, I started with the Bambu Lab's default setting named 0.08 millimeters extra fine at BBL X1C. On this column, you can see only the settings that I changed. So, for example, I increased the brim from the default was 0.1. I changed it to 0.3 because my brims were sticking and I had to do a lot of cleanup. This way, I still get the accuracy that a brim gives me, but it's way easier to take off. So you can see this list. These are all the things that over time I changed to get the best results I could get. Here's the second one I changed, which is exactly the same as the first one, except that I turned on ironing. Ironing, it will use the print head to smooth out the top surface. And this works really well on the particular Death Star pieces that are on the walls. Here's the third one I use. This one is based on the 0.20 millimeter standard setting, and I use this for large objects. And again, you could see I like to make stronger strength because my pieces where I was finding a little bit brittle with the default settings. So I made the tops and bottoms at 6 layers. And I reduced the infill down to 10% because I felt that was all I needed and it saves filament. And here's my final one, which again is the same as the one above, but I just turned on ironing because I did find 1 or 2 pieces that they were large, but they needed ironing on the top. So here are some examples of the pieces that I printed with each setting. So for the extra fine ironing with the smaller layer heights, you can see I'm pretty much doing any wall panel, and then there were some pillars and other little objects that had lots of detail and also a lot of top surfaces. Here are some examples of objects that I wanted a low layer height because of the detail, but there was no point in ironing them because they were coming out fine. Here are examples of large objects. And here are some large objects. They're doors, but you can see the details on the top, so I decided to turn on ironing for them. So I kept the 0.2 layer height, but I just wanted the top surfaces, and I oriented them this way so that the top surface was the detailed surface so I could iron it. Thank you for watching my video on how to use a P1S printer. I hope you decide to try printing and painting your own Death Star model.